Pathmonk is the AI for website conversions. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in the buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50% by adding Pathmonk to your website in seconds, letting the AI do all the work and increase conversions while you keep doing marketing as usual. Check us out on pathmonk.com. Hey, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Pathmonk Presents. Today, we are joined by AJ Reiter. He's the growth director at Medcrypt. AJ, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Excited to have you, AJ. So let's go to the basics right away. Can you tell us a little bit about Medcrypt? In your own words, what's the heart of what your company does, and how would you describe it to someone new?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so Medcrypt is a medical device startup focused on providing cybersecurity for medical devices. So securing the data transit and decision making that large, medium, and small manufacturers are incorporating into their device design. We work pretty closely with pretty much everybody in the top 10 MDMs, as well as startups across different device types, but primarily within the surgical area as well as within the diabetes space.
Very interesting. So you just quickly mentioned, the type of businesses you work with. Can you touch a little bit on that? Say maybe the industries you're able to serve best, and maybe if you can touch on what's the core problem that you solve for them, right? Why do they come to you, and why is it so interesting that they come to you?
Absolutely. Yeah. So our core, industry is focused on medical devices. It's right in the name with Medcrypt. So we work to help customers both meet global regulatory expectations, from FDA or the EU or other, others globally. But we're also, we care about, I guess, the patient safety first and foremost. So we're just trying to work to ensure that devices are secure, that we're making it more difficult to hack and potentially spoof data, and kind of give practitioners, doctors, surgeons, everybody a little bit more peace of mind when they're making decisions based on what they're seeing from the different connected devices they're working with. Really it's focused on helping a customer get to market as well as secure that data and help the end practitioner, which is really, I think, the mission of pretty much everybody in the medical device space.
Right. And aside from that, we roll about security here at Pathmonk too. So it's kind of like it's an important topic for everyone, even
Absolutely.
more so, right? If you're in the medical space, I'm sure that there's a lot of companies out there, and hopefully we'll reach more of those right now
Yeah,
that are in
absolutely.
need of that. All right, AJ, can you just tell us a little bit about how has your audience typically found out about you, and what are your top acquisition channels at the moment?
Yeah. So the med device cybersecurity space is quite small. We have great relationships across that space just due to a lot of our employees being former FDA either reviewers or policy writers, are kind of industry experts, career experts. We spend a lot of time meeting with customers at different events around the world. We're typically going to more than one a month, I think, at this point. And also, our marketing team works very hard to ensure that as soon as someone's looking online for medical device cybersecurity, that our site pops up first. So I would say, largely we're having a kind of a warm relationship introductions with customers that we worked with in the past or by recommendations. But we do our best to try and handle some cold outreach as well.
That's really cool, and I like the emphasis on you were talking offline, right? You were just telling me about I've been traveling, I've been visiting customers
Yeah,
and
yeah.
whatnot, And that face to face, I think it's so important these days. It's
Absolutely.
underestimated how important it is, right? Just to shake hands and
Absolutely.
meet with your clients. But I also like, you're teeing me up perfectly here for my next question, which is about the website, right? So you mentioned the website. Um, how crucial of a role do you think your website has when it comes to attracting clients at this point?
Yeah. Yeah. I think, our website's pretty well set up right now to help us, um, engage in the initial conversation with a customer, and kind of proactively have a number of questions answered that really help us tailor our discussion. So, I'd say it's quite critical, even when someone's reaching out via some other channel, right? Initially, and saying, "Hey, can we talk? I'd like to learn more." We're typically guiding them through our website because there's some ingestion points that we have, and questions that we ask that allow us to kind of incorporate the right team members when we're working with them, as well as get an understanding of, like, of their sense of urgency as well. So I'd say it's critical.
Mm, makes sense, right? It's like the old saying was, your website is your business card. Obviously, it's much
Yeah.
more than that these days, but it
Yeah.
still act as something like that, right? It's like that
Yeah.
first. If it's not that first touch point, then it's a touch point. I reference something that people can go to if they're, if they want to know more or they want to get in touch with you guys. So, yeah, sounds like
Absolutely.
you're using it a lot in that sense, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really critical, and we're consistently looking at it, revamping and adding new material, based on our understanding of what regulatory bodies like FDA are doing, what the changing expectations are. So it's on a biweekly basis at this point. I feel like we have a new look or new material on there. So
That's good. Now, I want to switch gears for a second here, AJ, and talk about you as a leader. So, as a growth director, what do you do on a typical day? What are the main things you focus on? And yeah, let's say, what does a day in the life of AJ look like at this point?
sure. Yeah. So initially, I would say that my role is to make sure that all of our trains run on time, if you will. I oversee essentially all of our delivery across all our customers, relationship management, and help to drive new customer acquisition into kind of that more steady state relationship management. I also identify and kind of put together proposed delivery methodologies for customers, and ensure that we're kind of expediting their time to value. So for me, on a typical day to day, I'm typically either checking in with the, existing customers, talking to new customers, doing some thought leadership, and then also work on my spare time, like helping to work through some new product development, and just kind of incorporate customer feedback into how we can improve Medcrypt's products overall.
Okay, that's an interesting connection there because I think being close to the product and the development of it, it's super important for someone in your position, right? Because
Right.
you
Right.
know the ins and outs. Like, how does that working for you? Do you feel that it's helping you when it comes to client relationships and whatnot? Or
Absolutely. I think voice of the customer is the most important input to the product that we typically a lot of folks develop, and we fall victim to it sometimes as well. We develop what we think customers need without really considering what they might want as well. And so trying to find um, the appropriate split between needs and wants, and ensuring that uh, folks feel like they're being listened to, and feature development really critical. So I feel being tuned into the product development is one of the most important aspects of my job.
Mm, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, AJ, we're coming towards the end of our time together here. We have a few minutes left, so I would love us to jump into our rapid fire segment question of the podcast,
Sure.
which is basically just a set of quick, sharp questions. And let's say that the only unspoken rule we have here is that for a concise question, we expect a concise answer. Are you ready for that?
Sounds good. Works for me.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. So, What is the well, let me start from this actually. Do you prefer watching, reading, or listening?
Reading.
Reading. Okay. What is the latest piece of content? It could be a book, could be an article, anything, written word, right? That you picked up, and were there any gems in it, and why did it stuck with you?
And great question. I most recent book that I've read is actually SPQR, which is about the early to mid days of the Roman Empire. I that is my daily thing is to try and get at least a few, 50 or so pages read, keep the mind sharp. So, interesting tidbit I have about it. To me, it's focused on dispelling the Roman Empire. We all we kind of revere it as this whatever archetype of perfection and all that, and how much it's affected our day to day still. SPQR is focused on kind of looking at what we hold as true about Rome as an empire and how it was founded and whatnot, and just kind of poking some holes in it, saying, hey, these were just people just like you and me, even though, there's some responsible for some of the most impressive inventions and, advances in modern history. So, yeah, that I would say that has kind of dominated some of my recent discussions, some of
Mm,
the learnings from that.
okay, interesting, very interesting. I'll ask you a couple of things offline if you don't
Yeah.
mind. I'm definitely into kind of
Yeah.
that topic myself. So,
Oh my,
in
it's
fact,
unbelievable book. Yeah, I highly recommend it. So
okay, good, good. I think there was a meme, just a small note. There was a meme going a while back about men thinking about the Roman Empire,
yeah.
uh, roughly like several times a day. And as soon as you mentioned that, I'm like, yeah, of course. I mean, it
Of
sounds
course,
like an
yeah,
amazing book.
obviously. Yeah. No, it's too real. My previous I went way into the rabbit hole of the Old West and just wrapped up a pretty hefty series about that. So I'm just kind of rewinding history a little bit more now. So
Very good, very good. Okay,
yeah,
I'll make a note of that. Now,
excellent.
quick question. So, if there are no limits with technology, what is the one thing that you love uh, technology, to solve to make your life much easier as a growth director?
You know, a lot of the time I'm talking to customers and they say it would be great if we could see this mocked up. Or hey, it's great that your product does A, but if we'd like it to do B, what would that look like? And it's really, taking specifications and trying to determine how we can get that built. Um, if we can automate some sort of early stage kind of mock-up for my customers to kind of say, hey, this is what we think it might look like, or at least just significantly reduce the time to prototyping something, that to me probably would help the day to day, as well as ensuring that we're sharing kind of like not just our current offerings, but what we're capable of doing with customers a little bit more proactively, I think would help me out. So, um, the big thing, our website's great. It points customers towards what we can do. Um, what I think we're continually working to improve on is we don't just do what's on there. We can help with anything cybersecurity related, anything software design related when it comes to a medical device. So within the whole landscape, like trying to educate folks, hey, uh, there's no question too niche for us to help out with.
Okay, very good, very good. Sounds like yeah, it will help you definitely become more efficient in explaining, and also
Yeah,
time to prototype as far as the
exactly.
first thing. Yeah, okay, that's an interesting one. What's maybe related, maybe not, but what's one repetitive task that you love to put on autopilot forever?
I'd say outreach.
Mm,
Because a lot of our customer acquisition is by word of mouth and by warm outreach or warm leads. Cold outreach is probably something I would love to essentially set and forget. Just so that folks are still aware of our services and capabilities. Also, we lead at this point, weekly webinars, thought leadership webinars, both with partners and kind of like industry experts. And I want to ensure that there is that we're continually educating folks that they don't have to buy services or products or anything from us. We're interested in making sure that the space as a whole is improving their understanding of what's required of them. So automating that cold outreach, as well as just kind of communicating where our marketing efforts, webinar efforts are, kind of continuing to be executed, would be helpful.
Okay, so it seems like a theme that it is about educating your customers more, and
Yes,
making it easier for you guys to be able to, once you're in front of them, actually show the value without much of that
exactly.
education that might come beforehand, right? Um,
Absolutely.
so maybe this is a chance then to educate a little bit more. AJ, first of all, I want to thank you for being on the show with us today. And as we wrap things up, I also want to give you the last word, right? So if someone forgets everything about the interview today, what is the one thing that they should remember about the work you guys are doing?
Medcrypt focuses on the patient safety first, right? Our job and our kind of corporate mission is to ensure that devices are safe so that doctors can make effective decisions on the data they're seeing. Um, if your device requires practitioner input to make a decision on how to either perform a surgical task or provide dosage, please reach out, because we're here to help provide some best practices, help provide some quick start securing recommendations, etc. So our interest is always in patient safety, um, first and foremost. So hope that's the primary takeaway.
Okay, awesome. And if people do want to reach out, where can they go to do that?
Yeah, so our website, medcrypt.co, is our typical landing page. You can find us on LinkedIn and pretty much every social media. We have Twitter and Blue Sky that are providing updates. We also provide a number of webinars. We partner across like 50 plus different conferences throughout the year. Pretty much all of the major medical and cybersecurity focused conferences. So if you're in the space, ideally you're seeing some of our material, but please feel free to reach out. Worst case scenario, info@medcrypt.co. That'll get you in contact with all of us real quickly.
Amazing. AJ, thank you again for being with us today. And, maybe we can do it sometime soon. I know something's big is coming up for you, but, after that, eventually, hopefully we
Yeah,
can reconnect before the year ends.
sounds great. Yeah, life is moving fast for me personally too. So but excited to stay connected.
All right, amazing. So,
All right.
bye, everyone.
See ya.